back to another episode of Unlocked the podcast. Abby.
Yes, welcome. Hey,
how are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
It's a day.
I know it. Saturday's the best day. Come on.
But it's a day that the Lord has made.
Okay.
We shall rejoice.
Let us rejoice and be glad. Okay. Take us to church.
Okay, well, not right now. You had to pay me for that. It costs a little bit more.
Maybe next time. Well, It's not Sunday, so maybe tomorrow.
Oh, we can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's so good every day though. Anyway, so welcome. It's so good to see you, Abby.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
I know it.
So today, listener and viewer, this is going to be a different episode, more sensitive episode, because we're talking about sexual harassment.
Yes. So we just want to give, a general warning. Because this subject matter is just a little bit more sensitive. It may be, a little bit triggering to some. So, of course, keep tuned in with us here. But we just want to let y'all know. So you're aware.
Thanks, Abby. Because I think it's important for the disclaimer for sure. But when you think about sexual harassment in the workplace, it's so unfortunate, right?
No, it is. Absolutely.
And it could happen to anybody. So as I think about and define sexual harassment, it could consist of unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical contact of a sexual nature. An employment decision affecting that individual is made because of the individual submitted to or rejected the unwelcome conduct. The unwelcome conduct unreasonably interferes with the individual's work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or abusive work environment. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that's sexual harassment. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great definition.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I looked it up. So to the point, it happens to anybody.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it happened to me. I was sexually harassed in the workplace. So I'm going to be very informational, very informative, very vulnerable here.
Yeah.
Because it's a very sensitive topic. And for the people who have experienced this, we want to say this and we'll say it again at the end. But tell somebody.
Absolutely.
Preferably your HR person, and do it in email and phone.
Yeah.
We are here to help you. And unfortunately, we have some HR partners who may not be as forthcoming or responsive
to claims of that nature, right? I've actually even been in situations where HR professionals have said, when it's a person who is maybe hourly or entry level, they don't take it as seriously, which to me is so out of bounds, because any type of sexual harassment in the workplace, regardless of if you're a salary, hourly, if you're a contractor, should be taken with so much seriousness.
Absolutely. And we'll probably do another episode on the investigation part of it. But as HR professionals, it's our job to do a good investigation of whatever claim it is.
Yeah.
If it's harassment, if it's retaliation, if it's discrimination, all those Title VII claims, we should take it serious.
Yeah.
Right?
And non-biased as well, because sometimes you could be in a situation where you are having to investigate somebody that is close to you, somebody that you've been working with for 10 years. That does not mean that they could not do, something that could harm another person, right?
Exactly.
Two things can exist at once. I always tell everyone that, like you can have somebody who's extremely nice to you, but then also do something horrible to another person.
Absolutely.
So
and you don't know. And I've investigated a particular department manager and a old employer who was there for 20 years. And these things or these acts or this bad actor. We
Mm.
didn't expect that.
Right.
But
I don't think it's ever expected.
yeah.
For me, whenever it comes across, my radar and I'm informed, I'm always shocked.
Yeah.
And I think more so, I'll use my mom's term, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because you just think, for me, I'm the glass half full type person.
Yeah.
I want to see the best in every single person.
Absolutely.
So when they show a side of themselves that is not the best,
Yeah.
it can be really, really disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that leads us to tell us more about your story.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed, for leading us to that.
Mm-hmm.
So back in Mobile is where I'm from, and I was working at this, I say local school supply store, and I think it was first location was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But I was working there. They had just opened, and it was maybe 2 or 3 other employees there, and I knew this was my high school classmate's stepmother.
Okay.
So she kind of introduced us, and
Right.
we got introduced, and she was like, "Hey, I'm opening this store. Would you like to work?" And at that time, I was working like 3 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to work a lot and school. But I said, yeah. Let's. I need some more money, I guess.
And if the fact that there's some relation there,
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
like,
It's
oh, even
always-
better.
Yeah, like it won't be as as difficult. We'll have fun, all the things. So we met her. It was great. As we were working, the work environment was pretty relaxed. She was a really cool person,
Right.
funny, and we always had a good time. We started working, and when people change up, she started changing in a way of like weird
Right.
acting, right?
Yeah.
And so she'll tell me, she'll like, "Hey, can you do this or can you do that?" And sure, whatever. And I kind of felt like, man, she's hard on me right now. I'm not sure what happened.
So do you think the things that she was requesting you to do were above what was necessary for your position, or was it just like
No, it was
on
aligned
top
with
of-
my position.
Okay.
It was just back to back to back.
Got you?
Well,
Okay.
we had another employee there who just wasn't
Contributing in the same way.
Yeah,
Got
it
you.
was weird. So fast forward, we get to one day. We I think it was a Thursday or Friday, and she was like, "What you doing today? What you doing tonight? You going out?" And I'm not really a go out person, and I think I said no, just going to chill at home, whatever I said. She said, "Okay." So I left.
Yeah.
I went somewhere. Went to the mall, maybe. I don't know where I went. Probably mall, met some friends. I think that's where I went. And she was texting me, and that wasn't abnormal.
Right.
She texts us all the time, just thank you or have a good weekend or whatever. So she texts me, and we were just kind of going back and forth. And she said, "Do you want to see something?" And my response was no.
Right.
I can't tell you why I said no, but I think I felt or I had a feeling.
Conversation was shifting a little bit into
weird. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Murky waters. You were going into murky waters. Understood.
So I said no. So the next thing I know, there are 3 pictures of her private area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Abby, you know me.
Yeah.
I got to make a little joke. It didn't look good. But
here's another thing for me. When I have so you have a boss, right?
Yeah.
You see them in a certain manner.
Yeah.
Right. When they take it to more of the personal and in that position sexual approach.
Yeah.
It's jarring.
It's
it would
what are
you don't
doing?
see them in that way.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I'm sure you were shocked and confused.
So I think I showed the person I was with. I was like, "Hey, can you let my boss just send me this?"
That's incredible.
So it was weird. So I don't think I replied or even or maybe if I sent like a throwing up emoji or something. I don't remember what
Yeah.
maybe I said, why did you send this to me? I don't remember exactly.
We're also,
So
I
she was
guess,
like, haha,
yeah,
just kidding. Or,
that's not a joke.
you know,
But I guess my other question was not to say that it matters, but I think, in our current, age right now and the experience that we have the terms and the vocabulary to really kind of, defend ourselves and speak up for ourselves when issues like this arise.
Yeah.
Can I ask how old you were in this
yeah,
situation?
Older than 21.
But still in college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was definitely in college.
Yeah, so there's still...
So, well, maybe, I don't know if I was 21 yet.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly the age, but I was young.
Right.
Young and immature.
Yeah, you don't have the understanding of how we would navigate that.
Also young and mature and don't know what to do next. And I couldn't tell mother. She would have killed her.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to mother. But I was like, okay, like this is interesting. So fast forward, a few more weeks went by. So we were closing one day, and the assistant manager at the time said, hey, she wants to see you in the back to help her with something. Me knowing the entire store, there's nothing in the back that I need to help her with in this particular office space.
Right.
It was empty in there. It was dark. It was hot. So it was nothing. I knew in my mind there's nothing. I said, there's nothing back there is what I told the assistant manager. She said, no, there's something. She just wants to see you and help her with pick up a box. In my mind, like, there's no box.
Right.
Like I just did a walkthrough because we're closing.
Yeah. And you already have the prior experience to make you feel
like,
uneasy.
No one puts anything in that room.
Yeah.
So I guess my better judgment. But at the same time, you're my manager, right?
Yeah.
So we're prone to listen
Yeah.
and obey.
For sure. She's in a position of authority over you. So you're feeling, I don't want to lose my job.
Yep.
I don't want to create
Although
a
I
more
had several,
uncomfortable-
but I didn't want to, because one, my classmate, that's her stepmom, so I don't want my name in a bad light. So I go back there. I go in, I walk in, I said, where's the box or whatever? The assistant manager closes the door and then locks it from the outside.
Wow.
The manager stands in front of the door. So let's say she's here and I'm like over here. And what am I doing in here?
Yeah.
So then she was like, well, you're not leaving until you give me a hug.
That's uncomfortable.
And I just stood there. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, this can't be happening to me right now. She said, no, you can't leave until you give me a hug. And I said, it's hot. I don't want to be in here. Let me out of here.
Right.
Being that I'm in law school, there were so many claims there, right? That I wish I knew, but I didn't. I wasn't informed.
Right.
There was really no reason for me to know.
Yeah,
but
you're still young. You're still in college. Like I said, there's things that we didn't have knowledge of at those times.
But she false imprisoned me. Like there was no other door to exit. It was that one door that the assistant manager locked with her key from the outside. Now you could unlock the door from the inside of the room,
right?
But she was standing in front of it.
Yeah, and that's also to me like, was the assistant manager also a part of this ploy to get you to go back there and be closer to her?
And I believe so. I there's no proof of that, but I believe so. So I said, I don't want to give you a hug. Let me out of here.
Right.
She said, you're not leaving until you give me a hug. Wow. And then mom, like, this can't be happening to me.
Yeah, the persistence alone is incredible. Wow.
Like, gosh, you could have just texted me and said you wanted me.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't have to lock me in a room and keep me hostage.
Yeah, she was married at the time. Oh my God. So I'm like, okay. So I said, I'll give you a hug. So I gave her like I put like my fingers on her like shoulders and I
it's like
leaned
the side hug, the friendly side hug. Yeah.
Very friendly. I mean, it was literally just like a,
Yeah.
And now let me out of here. So she, oh, you can go now. And I was like, oh my God. So then I left. I was so like distraught. I left. I don't think she texted, I think that same night, and was like, I'm so sorry if I made you uncomfortable.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. How
So,
do you?
so I
It's
mean,
a little too late at
right?
that point, right?
And I think in our world, sorry usually means admission of guilt,
Yep.
right? Or, they feel,
You did something wrong.
yeah, they're
Mm-hmm.
remorseful, maybe. So I don't think I don't know if I said, like I said something like it's cool or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But I was so like,
Yeah.
so I think we went on a couple more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the owners, because we didn't have HR
Right.
at this organization, but we had the owners' numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a picture of that and I called the owners
Yeah.
a few weeks later because the work environment had got hostile at that point. It had, I mean, literally like shifted. I think she wrote me up at some point. So we have false imprisonment, sexual harassment, and now retaliation.
Yeah.
Right?
Because typically when somebody does do something wrong, it doesn't even have to be sexual harassment. Sometimes they try to get rid of, or you know what I mean, put the person that they committed that act against in a bad light.
Yep.
So, and to my understanding of the situation is, it feels like she was trying to create this rhetoric that you were a bad employee.
Yeah.
So anything that you were going to say was going to be dismissed at that point.
Exactly. Like there was a few times because we didn't supposed to have our phones.
Right.
With any organization, I don't even know why they do that. I mean, the people gonna have their phone,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did put mine in the drawer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll go periodically go check it.
Yeah.
And one time I checked it, and like she walked by, and I was like, "Oh, you don't supposed to be on your phone."
Right.
So then I kind of just rolled my eyes and just. So then I think she brought me in the office and gave me a corrective action for being on my phone.
Because of that.
All other times.
Yeah, it wasn't an issue. And also, can I ask how you worked with the assistant manager there as well?
Yeah.
Or how did they interact with their phone? Was it something that?
Oh yeah, they were on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But it's part of it though, right? I mean, I know managers sometimes need their phones, but it was just like, but even assistant managers were acting weird.
Sure. Okay.
But fast forward a few weeks, called the owners. And I told the owners what happened.
Right.
This particular owner, she's female, and I said, "Hey, this is what happened." And you would never guess, well, you probably would, what her response was. I don't think she did that. That didn't happen.
Never. She's so nice.
Yeah.
She wouldn't treat anyone like that. Yeah. That's always the reaction.
And I said, well, it happened. And I said, I think it's best that I just resign. I didn't feel supported.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I couldn't go to anybody. There was no support.
Yeah. They didn't have an HR structure, right? So it's just.
She also said, well, do you have proof?
Wow.
In the moment, she asked it.
Yeah.
Now I understand. In an investigation, and we understand this, and other HR leaders who do investigation, you understand that's part of the investigation.
Yeah,
right?
you ask for,
You need witnesses, you need some type of. I get that. In the moment, you listen, though.
Absolutely. And you don't put blame or say that person could never do that.
Yep.
It should have been like, hey, we want to protect you. We want to listen to what you have to say. And then we're going to take action and investigate this further.
Yep. Exactly.
That should have been the reaction from them. Not, no way, I think maybe you're overacting.
Yep.
Like, she's just very friendly. I've heard that one before too. Yeah. She's just a friendly person.
Yeah.
That crosses the line of friendly.
Yeah. So I said, I think it's best that I just resign. So I don't remember if I went back. I think I put in a notice or maybe. And either I worked out maybe a week or 2 weeks. I think I put in 2 weeks, but then I think they said we can go this week. Right. And it was just interesting and very unfortunate.
Yeah.
The leader or the manager of the store, I don't think she stayed much longer after that. And then the store wasn't doing the best. I mean, at first it was doing well,
Mm-hmm.
but things changed, and
Yeah.
I think they closed it down.
Okay.
But
Mm.
it's unfortunate that I reported an incident
Yeah.
to the owner of the
Organization, right?
who didn't hear or listen or support my claims, didn't investigate it, didn't do anything
Mm-hmm.
to my to support me in any way.
Yeah.
Now, could there have been a question asked?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it was,
Yeah.
because after I reported it, when I got to work that day, like I could tell
That she was told what happened,
she
right?
was sitting in the office
Mm.
and she was looking at me when I first came in with this evil eye,
Mm-hmm.
this stare. She didn't speak. I mean, it was
Mm.
very, very evident that
Yeah.
she knew something.
Yeah. The telephone line was there. So
Yeah.
they told him immediately.
Yeah.
Wow, which is also what you don't do, because also that could have been very dangerous for you.
Yeah.
In events like that, people can react in such a wild way.
Yeah.
You can never really understand. So until you finalize an investigation, they shouldn't have even informed her.
Yeah.
Now, they should have made sure you were safe. They should have maybe even informed, somebody else who was working there to say, hey, listen, this is a situation. We're going through an investigation.
Yeah. Or owner, come down.
Right. Like
Come
witness
down
interactions.
Yeah. I mean, have a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm. And witness what's happening on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis
Yeah.
as well,
Because
But-
they have cameras.
Yeah.
That they
Oh,
watch.
yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
You could have gone back and seen when you were imprisoned.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So I appreciate you listening, Abby. We talked about this before, coming on, and your advice to me was, you just need to tell your story and let the people know that there are good HR people out there who will listen to you and
Yeah.
will take your complaint serious and will do the best investigation they can and give the best outcome
Yeah.
with the best recommendations. But what I always say, what we don't know, we don't know. Like we can't help you if we don't know.
Right.
And to all the business leaders out there who's listening, who have listened, who will listen, take the complaints serious.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not just a he say, she say.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's evidence. Sometimes there's...
And you can't just look to someone's personality and use that as a defining factor on if they, committed sexual harassment or any type of, issue, I mean, if we really take it, look at Bernie Sanders. People said he was a really nice guy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he was so fun to be around, but
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
also doing some awful things.
Yeah.
So, it's really... What my takeaway as well from your story is, especially with small businesses, I understand in the startup time frame, it may not be within the possibility for you to hire an HR professional. I understand that. But there's so much information out there to inform yourself.
Yep.
When you are starting a business and you get into hiring people, it's so important that they're protected. Because really, under the proper guidance, you could have sued that company.
Yeah.
And that would
Absolutely.
have caused them to close.
Man.
So
what I know now,
yeah.
I would have...
Yeah.
Wow.
You would have definitely had
I
so
didn't
much.
think about it. As a young, immature,
Yeah.
low information person at the time, I didn't know. I didn't even know anything
And you're
about
scared.
suing.
There's
Right.
fear there. You're fear. I think it's just like a teacher. You hear stories of teachers, like abusing children and things like that. When somebody's in a position of power over you, you are scared, especially when they have the ability to affect your finances.
Yep.
And I understand you were working, but a lot of people, maybe they just work one job, they go to school, or two jobs, they go to school.
Yeah.
So the fact that she had the ability to affect your finances is also scary.
Yep.
Imagine, this is your story, but imagine that all the other stories that people probably have where they did things they didn't want to do just to keep their employment.
Absolutely. And that, look at, and we won't get into the details because we don't know everything for sure, but look at Vince McMahon, who was the chairman of WWE.
Right.
I mean, all of that, and he was in a position of power, like the chairman of the board. of the entire organization.
Yeah.
So it's stuff happens. We encourage you to go to your HR person.
Yeah.
Report your claims, email and phone. Email is probably the most important because at that point we're put on notice that
it's official.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
and also documentation, right? That's
Yeah.
HR 101.
Yeah.
Documentation is the number one thing that's going to help support any case that you have. But also bringing it back to, like I said, even with small business owners, if you don't have HR, be informed and be that person that your employees can go to.
Yep.
Because if there's not an open door somewhere that they can go to, they're not going to talk to you. You're not going to figure out these issues are happening until the house is on fire.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure there's consulting firms out there. Hey, reach out to HR Unlocked the podcast.
Absolutely. And listen, subscribe.
But we're here to help you. And as HR partners in organizations, employees, we are here to help you. We're here to listen. So as part of our job is to listen, right? And unfortunately, if you come with us with a claim, such as harassment, and you say, "Well, I don't want you to tell anybody," at that point we've been put on notice. We have a duty to protect you and any other person who's potentially being harassed or whatever the claim is. So we have to, investigate it. But I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel safe.
Yes.
There are some really good HR people who are ready to listen and will do what they can to help. Like us, we
Absolutely.
are, and I said this in a previous episode, but we're very strong HR millennial leaders who are excited to take HR on, and we have been doing it so far.
Yeah.
But in these particular situations, we're sensitive. We show empathy, and we're here to help.
Absolutely. And know that there's power in your voice. There's power in your story. I think one of the things that, struck a chord with me as well as in similar situations that I've had as an HR professional, you often hear it from the woman's perspective. A lot of the times I feel as though I've had claims that a woman has filed. It's usually not men who come into my office. But I know it's happening.
Yeah.
So hearing your story, I hope that we're able to inspire others who, men, women, they can come forth and they can speak their piece and know that, again, there's power in your story and you can make that difference. Because if you allow that person to continue to do what they're doing, it's not just going to be you. There'll be somebody after you, and there was probably somebody before you. So stop the dysfunction in its tracks, right? And the number one way to do that is to report it.
Yeah. Well, Abby, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we're new on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think, but we're trending. We're trending well. We have over 100 followers. Keep going. We're going to continue to get the word out. Send us your HR complaints.
Yes.
To the email hrunlockedpod@gmail.com. Anything else?
No, I think that's all. So until our next meeting.
Let's have a great week.